All right, anytime we're looking at the slope, this was kind of the formula. Nikki, does this look familiar?
Students in this honors high school math class probably couldn't recite the Common Core academic standards, but they don't have to. They're living them.
So really just in the classroom, you know, it becomes, rather than a lecture, it becomes more of a conversation about learning rather than here's how to do it. Why does the slope have to be -1/2?
Math teacher Casey Ulrich doesn't use textbooks. He designs his own lessons aligned to the standards.
Yeah.
It's anything but rote.
Here's how the math works. Let's take a 25-mile-a-gallon car as sort of our baseline.
Take, for example, this lesson, kicked off with a video on cars. Attention perks up for 16-year-olds just starting to drive. The lesson compares whether a higher-priced electric car becomes a better or worse deal than a lower-priced gasoline car.
And the kids instantly already were connected to it. They use their intuition, so they kind of understand and maybe can see a little bit more why the math is useful rather than me just telling them math.
And then I would subtract 3x.
Gotcha. So either way, you're getting rid of those two things.
In the end, students are getting to a graphed-out equation of dollars spent on each car to determine value using x's and y's.
Instead of putting just the generic y equals this, y equals that, just here's how we solve it, here's more algebra. I mean, personally, as a teacher, it bores me. If I sometimes get too dry, I just kind of just like, guys, this is boring, I'm sorry. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think the slope is? The students have to think, where in the past they haven't had to. So the classroom becomes a place of conversation and engagement rather than lecture and taking notes.
Common Core hit the classroom in Menomonie Falls 4 years ago.
The focus is college and career ready. The expectation is we can compete internationally. And the word common really reflects to we're reaching agreement across the United States without necessarily mandating one test. So that actually is the debate that we're in right now.
And because the focus is college and career ready, the district is building student skills using the Common Core standards toward success on the toughest test there is in high school, the college entry exam, the ACT.
We're seeing growth on our overall composite score. We actually had our highest composite score ever, with more students taking the ACT than ever before. And then looking at the breakout scores, science has jumped tremendously, but we've seen jumps across all the categories as a result of some of this alignment work that we've done with the curriculum.
-2 minus 3, the difference is a -5.
And the work toward high scores on the ACT, which measures comprehension, begins in kindergarten.
The old standards for math were a lot of memorization, a lot of skill-based, a lot of procedure-based. Now the math is conceptual. The kids need to know why does 5 + 5 = 10? Can you show me that symbolically? Can you explain it in a story?
In addition to a depth of understanding, Common Core standards are more rigorous.
Kindergarten, they used to have to count to 30. Now they have to count to 100, but not just starting from 1. Start at 55, start at 37, start at 73.
The point is, the depth and rigor mean students don't forget memorized math facts. Here's an example from language arts.
They're always having to support their evidence of why they're answering the way they are. And the questions are deeper questions. They're not questions like, what color dress did Susie wear in this story? But it might be, why is Susie feeling this way? You know, what happened in the story? So they're starting to analyze text better at younger ages and all the way through.
We've got addition, we've got multiplication.
We didn't set out to find a district fully embracing the Common Core standards, but this one has.
Woohoo!
I do think there are a much stronger set of standards to help us move forward with our students, and really the expectations in college, the expectations that our employers have of our students.
The superintendent in Menomonie Falls says she hates the politics surrounding the Common Core standards.
Legislatively and across the universities and communities, I would love to see people really have the deeper conversation around how do we build and sustain appropriate resources for every child when we're actually committing to that post-secondary transition. State goal was to have 40% of our students have a bachelor's degree by 2023. Let's have those conversations, not just the debate about what we're going to teach and when.
So far, districts in Wisconsin have invested about $25 million implementing the Common Core standards in math and English. There is a move among some Republicans in the legislature to rewrite the standards and change the state test coming next year that aligns to Common Core. Governor Walker supports that move. However, school districts across the state favor the standards now in place, as does Wisconsin's Chamber of Commerce. Smaller school districts already struggling with lean budgets are moving ahead implementing the Common Core standards in anticipation of next year's new statewide tests for students.